Happy Canada Day! It's July 1st, and that means it is Canada's birthday. So, what does that have to do with books? Most of the books that I have are by either American or British authors. I don't really have many that are by Canadian authors. The only one that I do have is a fantasy novel. Actually, it's a fantasy series. And that's it. So, in celebration of Canada Day, I'm going to list 5 Canadian authors that are very well known, or at least fairly well known, and they mostly write things like science fiction, fantasy, although one of them doesn't even write anything about that. He's more of an environmentalist. The first author I'd like to tell you about is Steven Erikson. He's the author and co-creator of Malazan, the Book of the Fallen. It's a very long fantasy series. It's absolutely epic. It's a very interesting series because everything is totally unique. He and his co-creator, who I will talk about afterwards, started the series as basically a world for their role-playing. And it ended up becoming a novel series a few years later. I've only read the first 2 books, and there are many books in this series already, so I have a lot to read. The second author I want to mention is Cameron Esslemont. He's the co-creator of Malazan. He hasn't written as many books, but he has written some in the Malazan world. So he's also a good author to check out. I haven't read any of what he's written yet, but because I really enjoy Malazan, I do want to read his books. The third author is also quite well known. He is Gabriel Kay. His books kind of seem like fantasy, but they're actually set in an alternate version of the Earth. But in some cases I've heard them being referred to as historical fiction. However, as they are alternate Earth, there are some things that are different. Now, I haven't read any of what he's written, but I am very interested in reading them. The fourth author is probably one of Canada's most famous authors, and that is Margaret Atwood. She's written a lot of different kinds of books. She's done novels, she's done poetry, she's even been an inventor. But a couple of the books that I'm interested in are The Handmaid's Tale, which is based in the future. It's set in the future. It's a dystopian story. Also, I'm interested in the Oryx and Crake series, which has fantasy-like theme to it. So I'm interested in seeing that one. And at the moment that is, I believe, 3 books. And finally, this author passed away a couple years ago, but he's a very well-known Canadian author and environmentalist. And you may recognize his name, maybe. His name is Farley Mowat. I believe I have read one of his books. It was Never Cry Wolf. It's not a novel. It's actually autobiographical. He wrote about his time studying the Arctic wolf. He is known for being an environmentalist. He has done a lot of work with animals because he was a trained biologist. So, a lot of his books are actually nonfiction. So, Farley Mowat is an interesting one to take a look at if you're interested in more autobiographical things, as well as nature, wildlife, and so on. So, now it's your turn. In the comments below, I'd like you to tell me who your favorite Canadian authors are and recommend some books to me. So thank you for watching. So please click on the thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you would like to see some more videos. Thank you very much.